Welcome to Listen Up a Minute. I'm so happy to come into your homes or wherever you're listening to us from. In the words of Steve Harvey, we've got a good one for us today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring you into the art world of a young lady. Her name is Mrs. Virginia Coleman. I met this young lady at a convention center and I purchased some of her work. And now I am so happy to welcome her to Listen Up a Minute. And Virginia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Rodney. Thank you so much for coming into my studio.
Into your museum, you mean.
Yeah.
I walked into your house and there was a museum.
Okay,
Every
I'll take
floor,
that.
every room, there was art.
Yes.
And I mean original art.
Yes, we love art.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about you, where you came from, how you got started, and then we'll get into the other things.
Well, I'm originally from Buckingham County. That's where all my family is. Lived my formative years in Newark, New Jersey, then back to Buckingham County, and gone to school at VCU. A mother, children, and art always played a part in my life. However, art was not what I studied. What I studied was computers and business management. But again, art always pulled me.
Where did this love for art come from?
My parents.
Your parents.
My father is, retired as a machinist. And if you gave him a drawing, if you asked him what you wanted him to create, he could create anything. My mother is a gardener, and she makes beautiful vignettes in her gardens. And she always had a way of making all the rooms look beautiful in the house.
Like you had done to your house.
Well,
Believe
thank
me,
you.
trust me.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous in here,
Thank
you
you.
all. It's beautiful. Okay, so now, do you remember the first thing you created?
The first thing you mean created as an artist or as a...
As an artist.
The first thing I created as an artist in my second life of being an artist was when my husband and I bought a home and the walls were bare and I needed something for the walls, and I created huge pieces that actually were made out of foam core, but after I painted them, you would have thought it was a piece of metal on the wall or a piece of wood on the wall. And that was back in 2004.
Okay. The pictures, the images, everything that you've shown me in your home has a sense of heritage, a sense of connection to Africanness. Can you talk about that?
That's very important to me. I mean, I know that I come from a rich history of people who were enslaved. And I know by my entire family being in Buckingham County and growing up in Buckingham County, Cumberland County, and some in Appomattox, that we had to have come from those enslaved people. And so that's just always been embedded in me, and it's always been something I want to see in my art.
Okay.
And coming up in the 60s and the 70s, we didn't always see people that looked like us. We couldn't just go by a painting and it looked like us. We couldn't go by a statue and it looked like us. So it was important for me, for my children and my grandchildren, for me to create the people and the paintings and the little statues that look like us.
What are some of the challenges being an artist in today's society?
The biggest challenge is whether you're going to be true to yourself and your art, or whether you're going to go out on Instagram, go out on Facebook, and try to create what you see the other people want. That's the biggest challenge for me. And I have come to the conclusion that doesn't work for me. I have to work what comes from my spirit and create that way.
What have been some of the stumbling blocks that you had to overcome?
I'm a blessed woman.
There you go.
I I honestly can't think of any stumbling blocks.
And that's a good thing.
When I started in 2004, I had a friend, came to my home, saw what I did, came to me at the office and handed me a piece of paper, and he had purchased a booth at Sister for Sister at the conference center. And I was, no. The art is just for the home. It's not for anything else. Well, I felt I had to create then. I created 13 pieces. 11 sold at the Sister for Sister. 2 more sold before a week went by. And then I started receiving calls. Can you make this? Can you make that? The next thing was, same friend, you need a studio. I went to Artworks. I signed a contract for a studio with Artworks. I was at Artworks 9 years. There's still a banner of my art on the side of their building today. Then from Artworks, when curators would come to Artworks, they would specifically come to Artworks to go through the studios and look for artists.
Okay.
Then the next thing I know, I was being called to the Black History Museum. Then I was being called to Walton Gallery, and I was being called to show here and show there. So when I say I'm a blessed woman, I'm a blessed woman. It hasn't been a big hardship for me. And I've met such beautiful people that they usually include me. They'll call me and say, well, Virginia, we have this going on. Do you have any pieces? Do you want to put a piece in this, or do you want to be a part of this? So I've been blessed.
Best advice given to you?
Never stop learning. Mm-hmm. That was my art instructor who instructed me from high school and after high school. It was never stop learning, and never let anybody tell you you can only stay in one lane.
Okay.
It's more than one lane.
Okay. All right. Where do you see art going? Where do you see the art world going? Do you see the world turning to art? Do you see us running away from it? Where are we in your estimation?
In my estimation right now, the artwork is booming. And that's primarily because we have all of this social media where our people or any people can just go on social media, show a painting, and the next thing they know, it's in Michael Jordan's house. So,
Okay.
you know, so, and the museums are opening up to us, have in a way they have never opened up to us before.
Okay.
So I see a bright future. But on the other hand, I also see it pulling away a little bit more. And that's why I see, especially in Richmond and the surrounding areas, the young curators starting to build up the businesses and starting to put out the exhibits and put out the shows to make sure it's still opened up for everyone.
Well, I was interested and very excited about you talking about the collective that you all have, the brotherhood that the artists seem to have and trying to get together. Speak about that.
Well, there's a couple of people that come to mind. There's a couple of there's David Green and Tiara Green. They have the Liberated Arts Foundation. They have this ball every December, and they have art shows throughout the year. And they're a young African-American couple. Then there is Ron Stokes. And Ron Stokes has come on the scene, and his business is called the Art Scene. And he has, he curates art exhibits all over Richmond and Chesterfield. Then there's Amiri and Cindy Richardson Keys. They have the Arts that's located on Hull Street. It's a daycare, but Amiri is a VCU graduate, and actually a piece of his just sold to the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts.
Okay.
So, and I know I'm not remembering everybody, and forgive me that I'm not remembering everybody, but those are the three that come to mind right now. And then this studio here, what I do here once a month is I open it up, and either I'm teaching something in it to whoever wants to show up. The only criteria is you have to be crafty or an artist. It's called Potluck Artists. Everyone brings one dish. We come up here. I have tables pulled out here. We learn something. We go down. We eat. We come back up. We finish. We have the music blasting. We have a ball. And everybody is learning something from one another. We've learned crochet in this room. We've learned how to work with small pottery items. We've learned jewelry. We've learned how to draw. We've learned how to make just all types of manner of art creations as well as crafting creations.
Well, that's exciting.
Well, thank you.
That sounds really exciting. Now, I want to try to open up here, and hopefully the camera can get to this painting, because I understand this is your latest one, the one you just finished. So we want to share a little bit about this wonderful painting. I mean, I get goosebumps looking at it, just the imagery and what you told me, but you've got to share that with them.
Okay, so this painting has been in my mind 10 years. It's been formulating and formulating and formulating, and now in the time that we're in now, I thought it was the time to have it painted. And what's going on in this painting is this young lady came along and she saw this canvas, which was just a brown canvas, and there was a tear. And so she tore it to reveal her own ancestor in the cotton field. Then she saw another tear, and she tore that open. And what that revealed was what comes to my mind, which is the Devil's Acre, Lumpkin's Jail in Richmond, Virginia, where all the enslaved were brought here. And that's where they were sold off. So that's what that depicts. And then as she tears the canvas, she got rid of her clothing, and she was covering herself with the history that she revealed. And she has rose-colored glasses in her hands because now she's taken those off her eyes. I know, it's a little deeper.
No, but that's pretty deep. And what's really good, what people don't understand is art speaks.
It does.
Art, and what you see doesn't necessarily, it may speak to me in a different way.
That's right.
But it does speak.
Right.
And it's a way to start a conversation.
That's right.
It's a way to talk about our differences.
That's
it's
right.
a way to understand
Yeah.
our differences. Now, I know I'm going to get up here because he says I'm always walking, but I've got to grab this picture over here real quick because it's going somewhere special, and I want the audience to know about this because it is just too wonderful not to talk about.
Okay.
And where will we be seeing this hung?
This will be hung in the Black History Museum in Richmond. And I think it goes up next month. And it'll be on display for a couple of months. And I don't want to say it wrong, but the exhibit itself is about African Americans and their contributions to the country and the labor that they had to put in. And this painting that I created was my vision of what the enslaved felt the day they were freed. That's what inspired this painting.
Wow, that's deep.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's deep. And so you have to go down and check it out at the museum and really, really support art because art needs support.
It does.
It needs support.
It does.
Okay, and I do know it can be pricey sometimes.
Yes, it can.
But it's a one of a kind.
It is.
It's not copy. It's not
That's right.
copies.
That's
it's
right.
You have an original when you buy something
That's
from
right.
an artist.
That's right.
You have a piece of somebody's soul
Yes, you do.
when you purchase
Yes, you
from
did.
someone. Now grab my new one.
Oh, your
'Cause I'm
new
gonna
one.
show my new one. I have 3 now Colemans that I own, and this is my latest one that I just purchased. And first of all, I purchased it because when I saw it, I was just enamored with the colors. Okay, the colors is what really spoke to me, and then because I see everything in there, and I see everything through movement. Okay, so when I saw these, I just saw this as a trio of dancers. Okay, and that they were enrobed, and I just sensed that the robe would open up and they would be adorned and other. So that was my little thing, and I brought this offline. Yes,
Yes.
I brought it. I saw it online, and it spoke to me. And so much of the artwork that you have here, it just speaks to the soul.
Well, thank you.
It speaks to the soul.
And again, now this piece, this is wood. So you have a wood frame here that's called a cradle frame. And then these are 3, I'm going to say dancers, since that's what you see, dancers. They are also made out of wood.
Now, why do you have the shells and the? Explain about the
The
shells.
cowrie shells
Yes.
represent, cowrie shells back in Africa, that's how they paid for items. It wasn't money, it was cowrie shells. And the bigger and the more beautiful the cowrie shell, that was more. So if you had a gorgeous large cowrie shell, that one cowrie shell would be equal to $100. Okay. A smaller cowrie shell like this, especially if it wasn't as shiny or bright, might be 2 pennies. Okay. So that's why I always have cowrie shells in my art as well.
Okay. Now you've passed this on to your niece, or to your
Granddaughter.
Your granddaughter, and tell us a little bit about her.
Well, the granddaughter is Natalie. We obtained custody of her when she was 9 years old. And we worked with her, and we worked with her to make sure she could read well, that she had a wonderful self-esteem. And when she decided she wanted to go to college, she decided on Virginia Commonwealth University. That was not my first choice, but it was her first choice.
Okay.
And she decided art. Okay. So this is her 2nd year, and she's already been on the dean's list twice. And she's probably going to be on the dean's list a 3rd time.
Okay, now, are you working, do you have a project that you're working toward or something you're working on now? Or do you have any future plans or anything like that?
The next project, I've already drawn it out. It will be about the size of this painting, if not bigger. And what it will have a grandmother standing here, the daughter standing here, a granddaughter in the middle, and they will be holding a quilt. And I'm going to do 2. One will have quilt pieces of different important areas of our history. The other one will just have different Adinkra type fabrics, but I will create the fabrics myself.
The image comes to you? Where do you get your inspiration? What happens?
My iPad, and I'm sitting in my recliner in the bedroom, and the television will be on, and I'm not paying attention to that, I'm drawing. Okay. So I've gone from sketchbook to iPad, and I'm just sitting there and I'm drawing. And the reason why I love working with the iPad now, specifically so that if I decide I need to send something to the laser printer, then I can just upload it, send it to the laser printer, it will etch it, and then I will paint it. If I want to send it to this big machine back here, what that machine does, it cuts and it also draws. So I can send a sketch. I can add a canvas to this machine and it will draw out my art, which is that piece right there.
Well, you're talking about expensive equipment.
Yeah, it is. But I told you I'm blessed. And I'm blessed.
Okay, I'm going to say, but you know what? There's never been a hobby that you can get and do without paying some expense.
But now that you mention expensive equipment, I have to explain why I'm blessed. Not because of the man downstairs or my former job, because I always go in with a plan. So for instance, that machine in the corner was $7,000. Before I purchased the machine, I talked to my other artist friends And I wanted to see, was there anything that I could make for them with that machine? And when they gave me ideas, then I knew not only could I make things for them, I could make things for other people. And that way, that machine was paid off in 8 months. Okay. Same thing with this machine. The smaller machine, I just bought that. I mean, that I've had that 5 years. This machine, I've only had maybe 2 years now. But the same thing. I ask questions. For instance, my friends that sew, they want a pattern. They'll say, Virginia, I need this pattern. I need it this wide, this small. I put the paper in that, and it cuts out the pattern for them. So, and I say all that to say, if you want something, do your homework. There's always somebody that will want something made from that. Once you open their mind up to it, then they think about it, and then you can make your money off it while you're creating other things with it.
Well, yeah, because when I walk into a gallery or an art gallery, I gravitate what speaks to me. Mm-hmm. And if it speaks to me, then I say, well, I gotta have that.
That's right.
And and then I look at the price, and if it's okay, you see, okay, you got a little expensive taste.
Right.
But if I really want it,
right,
I have to have it.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And so that's how I am so happy that you let us into your museum today.
Well, thank you very much.
When I came in, I started downstairs on the first floor, and each room was represented a different artist and had original artwork in every room.
Yes.
And then I came upstairs, and then to be in your own, I mean, just to have this. Have this personal space to create your work.
Yes.
I know how much that means.
It means a lot. It really does. Yeah. It means a lot. And I think that's where the granddaughter has watched me. She's watched me, and then she's coming to her own.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
For like the fan that she made.
All right. So I don't know how close we are to finishing, but I know I have had a wonderful time today walking around in in her world, in her artful world, her colorful world, her spiritual world, her meaningful world. And I am so happy that you let us join in and see what art could be.
Well,
because the world without art would be nothing.
Exactly.
And so, Virginia,
thank you, Rodney.
I can't wait to see your work in the museum, and I can't wait to hang my work, my new piece, in my house.
Thank you.
This has been Listen Up a Minute. I'm Rodney Williams, and on behalf of the whole staff, we thank you for sharing your time with us, and please do come back. Listen up a minute. You might learn something. Smile.